It is another beautiful day. Welcome to another edition of Insightful Moment. Today and then some other days, we shall be looking into the 1 year in office of Oyetola's cabinet. Governor Gboyega Oyetola of Osun State appointed his commissioners. He inaugurated them on October 24th, 2019, after he has spent 11 months running the administration with only the SSD and Chief of Staff. Now, they have been in office for over a year now. What have been their achievements in office? What have they done? Have they been able to impact the lives of citizens? Have they been able to serve well? Are people of Osun State enjoying them? Are people of Osun State feeling their impact? Those are the things we are going to be looking into. And apart from commissioners that I will be featuring, I will also be featuring our civil society organizations to tell us what they have been able to observe in this cabinet of Governor Gboyega Oyetola. And also, we also hear from the opposition party, the People's Democratic Party. They will also be there hearing their view about the government, or let me say about the cabinet of the governor. This is Insightful Moment. I am Jare Tiamiyu. My guest today shall be the Honorable Commissioner for Children, Women and Social Affairs, Honorable Olubukola Olaboopo. She will be telling us what our ministry has done. Join me as I sit with her and analyze the issue. Join me as I sit with her and analyze the issue.
In 2018, the good people of Osun State massively voted for Governor Gboyega Oyetola. The mission was to bring in the Ilere Oluwa to their lives. Month after month, the governor has continued to change the narratives and redefining governance, putting people's need as topmost priorities.
As a government, our policies and programs are driven by citizens' needs.
Topmost on its agenda are prompt payment of workers' salaries without leaving the senior citizens who earn pensions behind. Osun has witnessed massive infrastructural development as several roads, bridges, government buildings are wearing new looks, healthcare revitalization during the era of Gboyega Oyetola.
My commission is Lord, to the glory of God and for the betterment of mankind. God bless you.
Now you can see that Ilere Oluwa tin ṣe l'Osun. Gboyega is working. Osun is progressing.
Welcome back from that very short break. As I said earlier, our guest today is Honorable Commissioner for Women and Children Affairs in the state, Honorable Olubukola Olaboopo. Honorable Ma, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Now, we are looking at the achievements of your ministry in the last 1 year since you have been in the shadow. We believe that you came on board sometimes in October, late October, and 2019, and now it is over a year. What have you done? But before I go into that, you are coming from the private sector, and you have been in the public sector for over a year now. How can you describe that? What exactly? How do you feel? The two.
It's a whole different ball game, but I also want to say that I've always been a public person. You will recall that this is not my first political appointment. I have been the chairman of Osun State Rent Tribunal for about 5 years.
Wow.
And so in all of those years, I've been used to being in the public, meeting with people and discussing the achievements of Mr. Governor.
Okay, yeah. Governor Gboyega Oyetola has been known that he prioritized the welfare of women and then even the vulnerables in the society.
Yes.
How has your ministry been taking care of this? We have to discuss some other, we have to be specific. But now, in general terms, how has your ministry been, taking care of this agenda of Mr. Governor?
Thank you very much. The Ministry of Women, Children and Social Affairs is basically a social welfare arm of the government. And what we do is uphold the interests of women and children, protect their rights, uphold their rights, and ensure that they have equal leverage with the male counterparts, and that at all times issues of gender is in the mainstream in the state. The Mr. Governor has been able to do this, and like I used to say, I will rate Mr. Governor A+ in terms of social welfare. We have a number of orphans and vulnerables, street children in the state, who are under the care of the state government. The state caters for their feeding, their clothing, their schooling, medicals, and everything that has to do with them. We have widows who are also another vulnerable set of people. Okay. We have young widows, we have middle-aged widows. And then when Mr. Governor came on board, our widows group in the states were factionalized. They were not working with one another. They had different agenda, and we had to bring them together. And to the glory of God, we now have a uniform widows group, because this has enabled them to enjoy the dividends of democracy more. They now have a common front, they have a common voice, they know their needs, and the government is able to respond to them adequately. You will recall that we celebrated our widows, especially on the International Day of Widows, yes. Widows Day. Her Excellency, the wife of Mr. Governor, Gboyega Oyetola, was with them, danced with them, spoke to them, told them they still have future, there are still hopes, and they went home with a number of goodies. Even during the COVID-19 period, the state took appropriate care of our widows. In fact, as a person, I was going from one local government to the other to meet with our widows because there was curfew. So we went from local government to another to ensure that food reliefs were given to our widows.
Now, let's now look at this. There is one innovation that you brought in when you became commissioner, and that is also women clinic.
We have a number of innovations,
okay,
not
but,
one.
Well, okay,
one of them.
All of them.
One of them.
Yes, okay, this one of them. But this one, people have been so particular about it on the street. Can you enlighten us? What exactly is Osun Women Clinic all about?
Thank you very much. Osun Women Clinic is a psychotherapy clinic. It's a psychosocial clinic to give support to women and children. We know that a number of women are under the suicidal bracket, depression bracket. You see them in their Ankara going about not knowing that they have bottled frustrations, bottled depressions. Sometimes they look at their pastors, they look at their imams, they look at their friends, they are not able to voice out for fear of shaming, victim shaming. And so we are saying that as a state, we are lending them support. We are giving them a shoulder to lean on. We want them to be able to come to us and tell us what are their challenges. Why is your business not prospering? Why are you having issues with your husband? Why are your children going delinquent? We want to look at this. We have guidance counselors, we have lawyers, we have social workers, we have psychotherapists, clinical psychotherapists, psychologists who work at the women clinic to give this support to our women. We even give legal aid. When we see that what you require is legal aid, we go ahead and give them legal aid at no cost to them.
How can people, we are in Osogbo now. People from as far as Ifetedo, people from as far as Igbaye. I'm going to ask the extreme of the state. How can they access this? Do they have to come down to the state capital before they can have access to this?
Well, we are looking at starting at each local government.
Okay.
Just like the women development centers, we are resuscitating across all local governments for the empowerment of our women. We are looking at having our Osun Women Clinic in each local government. But for now, we have it at the Ministry of Women, Children and Social Affairs. And we are doing well. We have good patronage and we are seeing results.
Honorable Commissioner,
yeah.
We'll go on a very short break now.
Okay.
When we are back, we would like to discuss some issues that are very, very key.
Okay.
What I mean by that, we'll be discussing the gender-based violence.
Oh.
We'll be talking about trafficking. We'll be talking about a distribution that your ministry made recently.
Okay.
All those things will be examined when we come from this very important break. Stay tuned, I'll be right back.
I'm Abokede Adironkefumi, General Manager, Osun Agency for Community and Social Development Projects. I want to say that you should keep watching Insights Link TV. It's a development-focused communication media.
You are welcome back from that very short break. My guest is still here, and that is Honorable Commissioner for Women, Children and Social Affairs in the state, Honorable Olubukola Olaboopo. Honorable Ma, thank you so much for being with us.
It's my pleasure.
Let's now look at these things that I want to mention. Number one, the gender-based violence, FGM, female genital mutilation, raping cases in the state. You know, raping case in the country was actually on a high increase during the lockdown.
Yeah.
How was the state tackled it then, and how is the state tackling it now? Let's start from the gender-based violence.
Thank you very much. In Osun, we are always very lucky because across the country, we had an upsurge in incidences of gender-based violence. And when we talk about gender-based violence, people readily think that it is rape. Rape is part of it, wife battery, sexual assault, and some other ones. And during the lockdown, relatively in Osun, we recorded quite low, you know, not that we didn't have, but at least relatively we recorded quite low. We ensured that we had a strong collaboration with the hierarchy of the police.
Okay.
We had paid the Commissioner of Police a visit to ensure that we are on the same page. We realized the fact that when incidences happen, the first thing for you to do is to report at the nearest police station. And we know that when it even takes victims confidence, a lot of confidence for them to come out to say that they want to report such incidences. And then when they get to the police station and they are ashamed, police officers ask them, why did you go there? What time did you go? Waiting you where go? You know, they start making jest of them, and the victim just goes back into a shell and no longer has the guts to go ahead with the case. And so we needed to meet with the hierarchy of the police to ensure that this does not happen. Police officers at the grassroots were sensitized, and that charges are brought under the appropriate ends. We no longer wanted a situation where instead of rape, they will bring indecent assault, which will affect the penalty that will be meted out at the end of the day. We all know that rape is 14 years. And so if at the end of the day you bring indecent assault, a charge of rape under indecent assault, the person will be given just 3 or 2 years. And so this were part of the things we discussed with the CP. We also have a strong collaboration with the Ministry of Justice. We want a situation where police don't prosecute our cases, officers don't prosecute our cases. Once we have gender-based violence case, we take it up from the police, we refer it to the Ministry of Justice, and the state lawyers, state officers prosecute such cases and see that justice is done. We have always been giving psychosocial support to victims. We want them to know that they may face stigmatization, it is nothing, and that whatever happens to them should not truncate their future. We just recently, His Excellency Mr. Governor launched the Gender-Based Violence Management Committee so that we can have a coordinated response, you know, responsive activities towards, organized activities towards our response to gender-based violence issue. Her Excellency, the First Lady, Gboyega Oyetola, was also at the House of Assembly to talk on law reviews. We want stringent laws. You will know that in Kano State we have castration as punishment now. We are looking at something like that replicated in Osun. Just recently, Her Excellency, the First Lady, led myself and some other women, concerned women, to the judiciary. We met with the Chief Judge, Honorable Justice Adepele Ojo, and female justices on the bench to seek their support so that when these cases get to the court, justice is done. So these are little of...
Ma, I want to go back to that. Recently in Osun, Gboyega local government, there was a case of a girl, 13-year-old, something like that, less than 18. She was assaulted, and the case was actually prosecuted. But human rights in the state are saying that the punishment is too small because the police are still prosecuting using the criminal law, and instead of the Child Rights Act. What can you say about that? And then what is the ministry looking towards?
I want to say that I am aware of that. and that the state government is at top of it. We are working assiduously. I, myself, and my Excellency, the First Lady, had met with the Chief Judge. Even apart from that day that we went, we had met with her subsequently on a weekend, the three of us, and we spoke a lot. We are looking at it. It will appeal the case. We will appeal the case, and I want to assure our people to be calm.
Child reared art has been domesticated in Osun,
yes,
but it has not been effectively used. During your discussion with the Chief Judge, were you able to discuss something like that? Because it's very important to name that this thing.
Well, in Osun, we are lucky we have almost all our laws in place. What we lack is implementation mechanism, and the ministry is looking at how we can implement.
Ma, let's now go to the other one, the trafficking. That's recently your ministry was involved in maybe restitution of some trafficked victims down to Osun. What can you explain to us? What actually transpired when those people, and then where are they now? Have they been empowered? What are they doing, or are they just back on the streets?
Thank you very much. His Excellency, Mr. Governor Dr. Gboyega Oyetola, got wind that a number of Osun women were stranded at Lebanon, and Mr. Governor shunned all bureaucracy, shunned all protocols, and said that even that night, all what logistics it was going to take to ensure that these women get repatriated be put in place. To the glory of God, we were able to repatriate about 25 women, and when they got here, we ensured that they went through medical profiling because their health is of utmost importance to us. We understand the fact that some of them would have been traumatized. We understand the fact that some of them would have been coerced into sexual, trade while they were there. And so we needed to check them to be sure if they needed government support to reinstate their health. Apart from this, we also ensured that we sensitized them. We brought in NAPTIP, which is the federal government agency against trafficking, to talk to them, because we believe that some of them may say that, okay, Lebanon did not work. They may want to still go to Qatar. They may want to still go to some other places. So we brought NAPTIP to talk to them and let them know that there is no greener pasture anywhere. It's just a mirage. Then we brought entrepreneurs who are into SMEs to talk to them on the opportunities which abound in the state. We want them to look inwards, leverage on their God-given talent, and see what they can do. The state has suffered to empower them, and we are working assiduously to ensure that they get empowered. When they were leaving, the state government gave them token, at least to maintain themselves for some time, and they are doing well. We are monitoring, and they are doing well.
Let's now round up this conversation by bringing it to what specific programs that you have been able to do, the ministry has been able to do since you came on board. Maybe it's just highlights or just those that you can just remember, and then you tell us like how many people benefited from it, because it's also very important. We look at the population of Osun, we have over 4 million, and then how many people we say benefit from maybe few of the programs that you have done.
Thank you very much. You see that all our programs are people-based, people-oriented. Like we said, we have not said that it is only women. We have orphans. We've been working across our orphanages to ensure that even children that are in the orphanages are taken care of by the government, apart from the ones that are directly with the government. And all orphanages across the state, we have about 60 or 70 orphanages across the state. You can imagine the number of children, what they have with them, apart from the government orphanage. Apart from that, we talked about the widows, we talked about women artisans, whom the state, by the time our Women Development Center starts now, at least at the minimum, every 3 months we will graduate 1,000 women. Yeah. 1,000 women who would be graduated, who would be empowered vocationally, and who would have access to funds, because we now have a collaboration with a bank who is going to give them funds with no interest. And so at the end of the day, we want to say that in a year, to be modest, we would have touched not less than half of the populace of women and children that we have.
Thank you so much, my Honorable Commissioner for Women, Children and Social Affairs in Osun State, Honorable Olubukola Olaboopo. She has been talking to us for the last 25 minutes. Thank you so much for being with us. Till some other time when we come your way, ensure you stay safe. That was the session with the Honorable Commissioner for Children, Women and Social Affairs in Osun State, Honorable Olubukola Olaboopo. She was able to tell us what life has been from private sector to public service. And also, she was able to tell us what is the administration, our ministry has been able to do, most especially as it has to do with the rights of our children, as it has to do with gender-based violence, and even rape cases that that was on increase during the coronavirus lockdown. That is how far we can go on today's edition. Join me as I also bring another commissioner in the next edition, and he will also be telling us what his ministry has been able to do. We are trying to look at the ministries that have actually been at the forefront of Oyetola's agenda in Osun State. Before I sign out today, I want to say a very, very happy birthday to some of our crew members, Tiamiyu, the assistant cameraman, and also Ademola Shobelu, one of the reporters. Both of them celebrated their birthday just recently. All of us, we celebrate you. We wish you many happy returns. Till some other time, please ensure you stay safe. Bye for now.